Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Motorsport Manager. This is episode number 22. We're in South Africa. It's Cape Town. Ready for qualifying now. So we'll put in the ultras and the qualifying trim. Car setup, we're at 98, 99% respectively. And it should be dry for qualifying. It looks like it will be. Let's go ahead and go grab our first banker lap. And I'll send them both out here early on. It's a short enough track, there might be time for 3 laps. Set it to auto. A lot of traffic out there. Vern put in a pretty decent lap there. You can see he's well up the order. Verstappen nearly 7/10 behind, about 2/3 of a second down on his teammate. It is making a really big difference in terms of positions. We are ahead of Wickens at least. Send about right away. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that additional lap in, but we'll give it a shot. There we go. Second hot laps. Vern currently in P15 after the first round. Verstappen is 22nd, so Vern's time is pretty solid. Neither driver going faster that time, and I think we do still have just enough time to get them out for a third lap. Have to be quick. And I brought the extra tires for it. Alright, and we'll see if they make it in time. 1 minute to start their laps. Slow it down a little bit here as we get closer. 15 seconds, 10 seconds. Got one car will make it, one car will not. Or he did. They both made it. Oh my goodness. Jean-Eric Vern just squeezing his way in. And it also looks like Vern will make it out of Q1 because Leclerc is the only one left in the Toro Rosso in the bottom 6. Leclerc does improve his time. Verstappen improves his time as well. Verstappen will start from 21st. Not the best qualifying effort for him. But Vern, that first lap was fantastic, and it gets him into Q2. Now I don't have a lot of tires left for this one, but that's quite alright. Hamilton was quickest. I'm going to go ahead and simulate the session here, and we'll speed things along. He'll get where he gets. Slowest thus far. Not quicker on the second lap. Not quicker on the third lap. Oh, he went back in. And that's it. 18th for Vern. Hopefully he didn't waste 2 sets of tires there, maybe just one. Hamilton again quickest. First lap is all Hamilton. What will the second lap bring? Oh, and it starts to rain. Times will not change. The times are not going to change here, so Hamilton will be on pole with Vettel just 3 milliseconds behind. Tim McLaughlin in third. Back in Formula One, many years removed from his previous stint in Formula One. Bottas in 4th, Ocon and Gasly in the Red Bulls 5th and 6th. Ricardo constantly in that best of the rest type status. And we're now ready to go racing. We are expected to have rain for the race. That rain right at the end of qualifying was the first rain of the entire weekend, but we're supposed to get a whole lot more. Looks like we're going to start the rain in the wet, potentially. No, it's going to start dry. Okay, so that means the front 12 are locked on those used tires. I like that. I do like that. And rain is supposed to hit, let's see, do the math. We're looking at about lap 23 or 24, maybe 25. Somewhere between lap 23 and 25, we are supposed to get rain. Let's start with car setup and figure out which tires to put on then. That's not quite going to make it. 23 to 25, though, the Super Softs will definitely make it. So we will be opening the race on the Super Softs. And let's go ahead and put our bonus there. Ultras, I don't know if we'll ever see them. Softs is only a 10% bonus. So we'll take the 30% bonus. There's no bonus for the wets because it didn't rain at all during practice. Kind of happy that we're set up for Super Softs. This also means all those front runners, they're going to have to pit before the rain comes, and we're not. So, and we'll be able to push those tires fairly hard because they should last a while. This could favor us, especially if we keep a close eye on the weather. But let's go ahead and get the race started. It's Hamilton on pole. Vettel finishing out the front row. Those two at it again. And we're here in Cape Town, South Africa. 5 red lights are out. Let's go racing. Verstappen, good start. Moves up a spot right away. A little slow there from Vern off the start. He drops down the order a bit. Somebody ran wide in a Racing Point. It was Sergio Perez on Ultras. Used Ultras. I think he was near the back end of those top 12 starters. Everybody else outside of the top 12, other than, it looks like Lando Norris, opted for something besides the Ultrasoft. So, looks like we'll have 13 cars that will have to pit before the rains hit. Norris might go far enough that he'll come out on the wets and be the first one to come out on, or at least on intermediates. But here we are, lap 2, running 20 and 21. That is Verline just ahead of us with Cassidy there in the Haas. Vern drops back a spot as the Williams of Wickens gets by. Verstappen in a good position here, but he's kind of blocked in a little bit. He's going to squeeze with the Renault. Can we complete the move? We do get the Haas behind us. And now we're going to split the Renault and try to follow the Audi through once again. No, can't complete the move. The Renault stays in front. That's Hulkenberg. This time, though, we've got position. And no, front straight, too long, and it turned left again there. Pressure all over him. Vern has recovered his position and actually is going to make it around for Verstappen here from the looks of it. Please do not crash into each other, you guys. Tire heating's actually looking pretty good. They've been racing hard for 3 laps. The heating is right where we want it. Vern now up to 19th, Verstappen 20th. So go through the traffic circle. Hamilton has the race lead, but Vettel just 2 seconds down. Bottas has moved up to 3rd after starting 4th, 5 seconds back. Sainz up to 4th. Leclerc 5th. Glock all the way down to 6th, so poor start from him. Ricciardo is battling him at the moment for position. Gasly and Ocon also struggling through the start, down to 8 and 9. Gasly recovers ahead of Ricciardo, though, as Glock probably blocked him off. Speaking of, here comes the Haas trying to recover. This is Kevin Magnussen. And we got 3 wide there for a moment. Vern now ahead of Verstappen yet again. A lot of battling back and forth, And these tires are starting to get hot. Let's cool them down for a bit. And let's cool that down as well. We're not making much progress through the field. It's just too bunched up. So let's speed things up for a little bit. Lap 5. Leclerc down to 6th as Gasly back up into 5th place now. Glock also moving up, battling Leclerc. Leclerc doing really well in that Toro Rosso. Sad sight for him, but it's also a sad sight for Max Verstappen to be on a team such as ours as well. Okay, fuel is pretty much recovered. Positions are identical. I mean, we're right here, 2021, nothing's changed by cooling off and saving fuel. So this is actually a good thing. Big mistake, though, Verstappen. Though the recovery doesn't hurt him much. His mistake running wide where he did put him back on the track where he was. It's lap 11. Tire heating's holding steady here on neutral driving. Vern up a spot ahead of Magnussen. 19th. Got that little bit of extra fuel now. Lap 13. A lot of those cars at the front will be pitting here in a moment. Besides the Mercedes and the Ferraris, who have pulled away a bit, the rest should lose positions as we kind of come through this. Alright, slow things down for a little bit. Kind of get that check in. Yeah, weather's still looking to come at the same time. Just as we should be converting to wets, it looks like the rain's going to stop. So it should be a long intermediate run. And then maybe super softs or ultras to the end of the race after things dry out. Speed things back up. Nothing's going to happen really until we get to the rain here. Oh, Verstappen easily passed by Roman Grosjean. Grosjean in the Haas, but he's already pit. He started in that top 12. So he is on, well, should be fresh tires. They are more fresh than ours, but pit a bit early. Sainz, Glock, all coming out on the wrong tire. Those guys should all be on ultras. Bottas is on them as it's going to start raining relatively soon. The leader, Hamilton, has not pit yet, but he's already coming up on the back end of the field. So you can see the last two cars right behind me, Nico Rosberg in the Audi, and then Wickens behind him. And then a little bit further back, coming behind, no, that is not another Williams. It is a Mercedes. It's the race leader of Lewis Hamilton, but he will be pitting quite soon, and that'll bail us out and keep us from getting lapped at this point. We could certainly use a safety car to help us out and keep us on the lead lap. Perez pits. He will come out a lap down. Moves us up a spot. I think it's time to turn this up a bit. The field has certainly stretched out. Speaking of, Vern is actually up to 18th now, ahead of both Haas cars. So we've split the Haas cars between us. Little Haas sandwich. Hamilton still has yet to pit. This rate, he might make it long enough to go on the intermediates. No. He is into the pits. He is into the pits now. And Hamilton completing the stop. Oh, and he comes out on super softs. Come on, Mercedes. Get your act together. Alright, well that gives us a good gap to Sebastian Vettel now, who takes over the race lead with the long undercut being just enough to be 1.5 seconds ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton, though, has the fresh tires, will have the speed, but it's only going to last a few laps until that rain hits. Now, our tires are plenty fresh enough to pit at the appropriate time, though not much of a gap. We've got just under 3 seconds, about 2.8 seconds separating our two cars right now. So, double stack, not a big enough gap. 4 or 5 plus seconds would be enough, but not 2.5. We're now pressuring Verline in the Audi. rain should be falling soon. Let's go ×4 speed until it does begin to fall. My guess was between lap 23 and 25. And we do still look to be roughly in that range. But here come Vettel and Hamilton with those fresh tires. So they will be coming to lap cars soon, which is bad. Very bad. Especially as we are outside of the points. If something happens, and there is a safety car after we're lapped, we're pretty well screwed. Still running 17 and 20 right now. Still sandwiching the Haas cars. Hulkenberg just pit and came out on the intermediates. He's going to lose a ton of time here, but it is lap 24 just now starting, and the rain has not begun to fall yet, but probably will here any moment. Still a lap or two away, it looks like. Vern now caught up to the Audi. He's got to look to the inside, and here's the first raindrops. Track is now damp. Vern putting pressure on. He's got the inside there, but can't hold it. Switch back, and he completes the move up to 16th for Vern now. Meanwhile, Verstappen drops a place. He's down to 21st as the Racing Point that made the mistake early on and had to pit already has started working his way back up the field. That is the Williams, not the Mercedes. Remember, the Mercedes pit. But there is, I saw Vettel. There he is, almost straight behind us and coming quick. He's added a second to his gap over Hamilton. So he's pushing pretty hard right now, and with the rain beginning to fall, there will be pit stop soon, but it's only just barely damp right now. Until we actually start to get the track a bit wet, do we want to switch to the intermediates. This should naturally start to cool the tires a little bit as well. I could really use that safety car though, Max. There's Vettel. Right at the back of the train that we are leading. Everybody's going to pit soon. The leaders included. But I pit, they pit, and we're still essentially in the same place, meaning we're about to get lapped. If he could pass one more car and then the safety car come out, that would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. But if he gets ahead of Verstappen, it's pretty much day done. Not yet. Still just damp. Still just damp. And nobody else is pitting yet. Vettel's now the one behind. Okay, come on, safety car. Somebody. And no safety car, no safety car. Actually, yes, do so. Save Vern's race at least. Max is done. Safety car now. And he's a full lap behind the car ahead of him. But at least Vern would still be in it. But if Vern gets past, then the worst thing we could see is a safety car. Because then that'll separate us. Huge gap. Okay, first cars are starting to pit. Ericsson on the intermediates. This next lap, I think, maybe the time for Vern especially. He's at 24%. So let's go back up here to Vern, who's now in 15th. And we're going to put on intermediates. Those intermediates, ooh, it's going to pick back up the rain. Ooh, we have just under 50 laps to go. Looks like we're going to have to make one more stop on intermediates at some point in this race. So that makes it a two-stopper for us. If it stays wet all the way to the end of the race anyway. Ericsson all the way down to last place at the moment. The gap is about 5 seconds now. We could just about cover it off, but I'm going to have Max go one more lap. We're going to attack. Vern in the pits. It's a good stop. That was 2.7 seconds. Max, we're going to push this lap. Still just damp, but it is transitioning. Vern down to last at the moment. Okay, where are we? Coming up on that pit stop. Let's do it. 25%. It's time. It is time. And the right time to be on the track. We're right at that transition point anyway, so. There's Hamilton. Hamilton's been held up with the traffic a bit longer than Vettel has, especially by us. So sorry. We're out of your way now. Good stop. 2.7, same time as Vern. And now both cars are a lap down. Vern already back up to 22nd. Verstappen 23rd. Perez just stopped again. Let's go ahead and ride with Vern now, a little bit further up the road. The gap between them is now 7.7. So Vern actually looks like he is gaining time on other cars. For instance, Perez, right? Had Perez, I know he passed Verstappen already. I don't know if he had passed Vern or not. We'll see. We're only 5 seconds behind Rosberg, though, and Rosberg was pretty close behind. So these guys look like they are going backwards. We are starting to gain time. Yes, the track is now wet. It has transitioned to that point where we're right to be on the intermediates, and it does look like it'll be all the way to the end of the race. Speed it up just a little bit here. There is Bottas losing time, so there you go. There's the proof that the intermediate is the right tire. Bottas on the Warren Ultrasofts is going backwards. There's Rosberg also on the wrong tires, so we've already caught up to him, and he still has not pit, but here comes the quicker racing point. Not really the car that we are ultimately racing against. At some point he will pull away and leave us in the dust. We're seeing him a bit now in the race, but later on he will not be witnessed. The Haas, I think, has ruined his day. The Audi has ruined his day. Those guys all losing a ton of time. Grosjean losing time. This is Hamilton, who still has not pit. So we are passing the second place car, unlapping ourselves. Not from the leader, but there's the leader just ahead. So we could be getting our lap back here in just a moment. This is fantastic. They have not pit yet. So timing really good for us on those pit stops. And now we are really, really benefiting from it. Vern, back on the lead lap. Also negative on the fuel, so we'll back off a little bit. Another car peels off. Vern's up to 16th. Verstappen up to 18th. Still, front runners have not pit. Sainz, Glock, Gasly, Ricciardo. 2 of them, 3 of them are in. Ricciardo, last one still out. And he is in. Everybody now onto the intermediates, and that's how much Ricciardo's race has been hurt by this. He's going to come out in between Vern and Verstappen. He's just ahead of Verstappen. So he went from just about a lap ahead of us in just a few laps, is now all the way down the order. Verstappen back on the lead lap. Here's the race leader, though, Valtteri Bottas. Even though he lost a bunch of time, he pit earlier than the others, and it's now given him the race lead. So even though we unlapped from him quite a while ago, he pit earlier than Vettel or Hamilton or whoever was running third at that time. I know Bottas was fourth. Was it Sainz? Oh, yellow flag. Perez colliding with Ericsson, and he's going to have a drive-through penalty. Vern has to check up from that, and he drops back a couple car lengths from where he was. Now he's been backed up all the way to Verstappen, who is improving his form and getting back into this race. Vern, meanwhile, struggling here in the wet. And here comes Verstappen, looking to make a move on his teammate. That gap had been out to 8 seconds just moments ago. There's Ericsson. Ericsson does not appear to have a problem. There goes Verstappen. So now Verstappen has reclaimed the status as our top guy. Perez going through again. Boy, he's having a rough race. So at the moment we are 16 and 17. Track is very wet, bordering on the point of needing the full wet tire. It's clear we're not going to stay there long term. Here comes Vettel to relap us. So we're back into that please no safety car situation. Though Verstappen could certainly use one right now because we'd almost be guaranteed points. There'd only be one position left that's not in the points, but there he goes. So now the worst thing we could see is that safety car, as Ericsson would drive off and queue up at the back, and we'd queue up at the front a lap down. So back to a lap down. We could push for a little bit. Vern re-overtakes Wickens. They've been battling back and forth a little bit. Vettel 3-second lead over Bottas, so he's reclaimed the lead. Hamilton is 8 seconds down. Glock 30 seconds. So the Mercedes back up into the top 4. Sainz hanging on to 5th. Cassidy, Gasly. So the Red Bull's really struggling today. Hulkenberg, just the one stop pit very early, has really benefited from it. Hulkenberg was in last place, now runs in 8th place. But his tires are a bit more worn, just like mine. Though it's not a big deal, because we only have one pit stop left to go. Now, the track is soaked. This would be the time to be on the full wets instead of the intermediates. Who is this in front of me? It's your teammate. It's Max Verstappen. So, this would be time to put on full wets, but it's not going to last. And because it's not going to last, we don't want it, because it's going to stop raining for a little while, and then it's going to kind of go back to a light rain. So as that track dries out a bit, it's okay that we're on intermediates. Magnussen with a problem. He's got a puncture, and he goes backwards. He was just behind us. Pressuring the Alpha of Ericsson. Can't get by. Now even Magnussen still just stuck with the intermediates. So as long as everybody's on the intermediates, we're not hurting from this. Max gets by, but he's got to cool things off. So we're going to back off again now that he's up to 15th. And if Vern clears, gets a little gap, I'm going to start. Keep the fuel up. Grosjean colliding with Wickens. And Grosjean now, he's got a pit. Okay, back to neutral. Back to neutral, and the rain has stopped, and we're immediately back down to just wet. So we're back to being in the right place on the intermediates. So that wet period just did not last. Grosjean, long time in the pits. Loses a ton of time. We're holding pretty steady now at 15-16. Ericsson, Leclerc, a lot of tire wear, more than us, despite everything. So we're doing good in that regard. Track's drying out a bit, but it won't stay this way for long. We're at 46%. Now, in terms of being a lap down, Vettel still hasn't gotten that far, so I really need him to continue making progress through the field, as we cannot afford to have the full course caution come out, safety car come out, and back us up behind the leader, while all the fellow competitors in contention for points queue up behind the leader, still on the lead lap. 25 laps to go. We definitely want to pit again soon. It still has not started raining yet, and we're down to damp, but it's not going to last. So we're back to being on the wrong tires at the moment. But again, everybody's on the intermediates, so there's nothing gained or lost by that. And since that rain will come back here very soon, I think 8 laps of running on just damp is not going to be enough to warrant a pit stop. Starting to sprinkle again? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The rain's coming back. Hulkenberg drops to 9th and pits. And he will come out ahead of us still. It's an awfully big gap between us and anyone else on the grid right now. So looking at the mini-map, 14th, Leclerc is 13 seconds ahead. That's the nearest car in front of us. Behind us is Ericsson, who just got passed by Timo Glock. And the gap to Ericsson is about 5 seconds. So it's not as big behind as the gap in front, but that's still us in no man's land. But here comes the Mercedes of Glock now, coming up on Verne, which Verstappen has pulled a ways away now. It's over 6 seconds. So Verstappen has definitely been better in the rain. But at 28%, I think Verne's going to need to pit here in just a moment. Let's get out of the way of the Mercedes. Let's go ahead and do that last pit stop. It's already back up to wet, so yes, intermediates the rest of the way. And they will easily last through these last 20 laps. We are just 26% on the brakes. That's a little worrying, but 20 laps, hopefully they will make it. Oh, he's already in. Alright, so we come out in 21st. At least we're not in last. Perez has retired. That just happened. Ocon has spun. That is Sainz lapping us. And that is Gasly just behind him. Okay, Verstappen, we're going to get you ready to come in for your final stop. His car is good to go. He will definitely make it to the end of the race. Verne, not so sure about. Ericsson pits, comes out behind Verne. Ocon colliding with Magnussen. Good stop. Another 2.7. It's push coming out of here. A lot of spare fuel right now. 16 laps go. Verstappen's going to come out in 16th. He only lost 1 position through that pit stop. And right now is just behind Kubica, who will definitely pit soon. Norris has spun, so we're starting to see a lot of mistakes in the field. All 3 cars between us, Verline, Wickens, Rosberg, still need to stop. Cars in front of Verstappen, at least the first 3, all need to stop. Cassidy, Hulkenberg are good to go. So we've definitely got some room to move up a spot or 2. Still just a light rain, but it's wet. Verstappen has caught Kubica already. But it's time to back off a bit before we overheat the tires. Meanwhile, Verne is caught behind. He's caught in front of these guys again. See, Bottas has already pit, came out in 3rd. Ocon's fixing a problem. Nope, you're going to ignore that. For now, anyway. There you go, he is caught up here. Let's have you push a little bit. Let's go ahead and get back up here with Verstappen, who is now back into 15th. Ocon, his pit stop brought him out behind us. That's the Red Bull. We're not going to beat him for pace. We're only 2 seconds ahead. So unfortunately, we will lose that spot. But these 2-3 guys in front of us. Ooh, Ocon just spun. Maybe he won't catch us now. Now he's 9 seconds back. Norris pitting. And he's going to stay ahead of us, though, isn't he? Yes, he is. There's an awfully big gap. Kubica's the only one 1 second ahead, and Kubica's definitely going to pit soon. So 14th is what we're looking at as the rain starts to pick up a little bit more. Vern's up to 18th. He should also get Verline in the near future. That would be 17th. Kubica, maybe. There you go. Vern up to 17th. Time to back off, please. Back off. Cool your jets. 23%. I think you might make it. Okay, back to neutral. Let him cool naturally for a while. He is right behind Sainz and Gasly. So Gasly and Sainz have barely made their way around Vern. So tempo-wise, he's got a good bit of pace here out on course. Though Verstappen is definitely faster. Hamilton collides with Wickens as he tries to get by. Hamilton has not pit yet. He's in the race lead. He was trying to lap Wickens, and Wickens got in his way. Cassidy colliding with Raikkonen. They're having issues. You see a number of cars that are going to pit here very soon, including Kubica. Uh-oh, here comes Ocon. He's covered those 8 seconds. We might be able to defend here. Verline has locked up. He's got a problem. Raikkonen, see his big problem. He's going to have a long time here in the pits. He doesn't pit. Raikkonen does not pit. And yes, he does. Okay, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. I was looking at Norris as he went by. Raikkonen behind both cars now. Comes out just behind Vern. We're up to 13th and 15th at the moment. Both cars in the points, with just a few laps to go. Okay, gotta cool this off. 12%. I think he'll make it. Ocon has dropped 6 seconds back, so Verstappen is okay. Vern just a second and a half ahead of Raikkonen. Raikkonen's got fresh tires. Could be really hard to hold him off. Vettel moves into the race lead over Hamilton right as Hamilton comes out of the pits. Or just after Hamilton comes out of the pits, and Hamilton retakes the lead. We're going to check in with that battle. There you go. There's Hamilton in the race lead. He's got a problem. Remember, he collided with Wickens. So he's got some damage to his car after trying to pass Wickens. Nice double move there to get around. Vettel collides with Nick Cassidy, so he doesn't make it through. He's under investigation, but it quickly ends. I don't think anybody else is going to stop in this race. So my guys in 13th and 15th could very well finish in the points. It's now the final lap of the race. Oh, and it's done. Hamilton wins the race. Vettel takes second. Glock third. Let's get back here to our guys. Verstappen. Verstappen finishes in 13th. Ocon finishes 14th. And Vern finishes in 15th. Nice. I get both cars into the points. Good result. Good result. The two-stop strategy working really well today. Anybody who was on the two-stopper benefited for sure. I mean, even Rosberg and Wickens moved from the back. Ericsson all moved from the back up ahead of cars who had some issues and extra pit stops today. Not a ton of points for 13th and 15th, but it's more. It adds to the total. Take what we can get. Car's got a lot of development still to go through to get a little more competitive this season. Let's try to start pushing top 10s instead of just top 15s. But if we can consistently push top 15s, I'd be very happy. Whoa, Verstappen had a 10-second penalty? When was that? Good thing that Ocon had a 20-second penalty, huh? I never saw Verstappen have an incident or get pointed out. So Hamilton takes the win. Gosh, look at all those penalties out there awarded after the race. So with a whopping 18 points, we're only in 10th place. But Alpha has yet to score points this season. Williams have 14 already. Haas have 19, just 1 point ahead of us. Racing Point, just 21, 3 points clear. And Audi, 5 points clear with 23, with that crazy shock first round. Fantastic result that hopefully they can't replicate throughout the season. But with just less than 10 points separating 7th from 11th, it's a close battle outside of the top 6. Renault, the big 3 obviously are going to score a ton of points. But Renault, Toro Rosso, and McLaren, I think, are regularly going to be competing for points. That's 12 positions right there. 1 or 2 of them having an issue daily puts them in through about 10 of the top 15. Then you've got 5 spots left. So getting into the top 10 is pretty hard. Getting 11, 12, 13 is definitely doable on a regular basis. And then that's the scraps that the rest of us are fighting for, that 4, 5, 6 points per race. And then maybe occasionally getting upwards of 8th or 9th place, as others have minor problems. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.